I know that you graduated from Ilion High School, and that you were there. It was in
Yes.
1965, and then played for the Cardinals. So I want to kind of, I guess, go in timeline order here. So having grown up in Ilion, just first of all, what were your memories that you have of being in Ilion growing up as a kid and getting involved in the game when you were really young, at a really young age?
Well, when I first started getting involved in sports, it was baseball and then basketball, and I wanted to play football, but I hurt my knee as a freshman, so I never ended up playing football. I just did the two sports, basketball and baseball. And as I was growing up, baseball was always my number one, but I enjoyed playing basketball and baseball. In high school it was kind of a challenge, but you know some of the schools had some pretty good players on it, and it was a challenge, and I enjoyed every minute of high school ball.
When you got involved, what was it about the game of baseball that you loved and enjoyed that made you stick with it, even up to the high school point?
Well, I mean, I started Little League, and once I got the feel of playing Little League and against other players, I just enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the challenge, and I just wanted to make myself better, and I always had a dream, of playing in the big leagues, and unfortunately it came true. But I mean, I always had the love of baseball when I was like 5, 6 years old.
Who was it that got you involved in the game originally?
Well, really nobody. I just picked it up, and I watched games on TV and stuff, and I liked the way they did things, and I just caught on, and actually really nobody really pressed me to do anything, and I just enjoyed it, enjoyed watching it, and as I grew older, enjoyed playing it, and hopefully I made myself better as I got older, and fortunately, like I said, it happened, and my dream came true.
So when you were watching baseball growing up, which team did you follow, and which players stand out to you as guys that you really enjoyed seeing play?
Well, when I grew up in Ilion, there's only the Mets and the Yankees were the only two really teams. Well, they had the Dodgers and the New York Giants actually too, but most of the Yankees are on TV, and I mean, I watched a lot of that. But actually, my hero, my idol was Stan Musial with the Cardinals. So, but I never really had a chance to see him growing up too much, because it was mostly Yankees were on the TV. So, but Stan Musial was always my idol, and I got to meet him several times, and it was I enjoyed it, and my another dream came true. So. It was, like I said, my career has been a lot of fun.
You said that you had that dream of making it to the majors. When did you realize that could actually become a reality? There's so few people that actually wind up becoming MLB players. When did you realize that dream was actually possible to be something that came true?
Well, as I got older, Little League, and then I went to Babe Ruth League, and then high school. When high school came, that was really all I wanted to do. That was my number one, and actually it probably was in my freshman year in high school. I made the varsity team, so it really started then. As it went on, I had the love of the game was getting more and more. So I mean, that's probably when it started, was a freshman in high school, and it really got serious about it.
So what kind of a challenge was it, or pressure did you feel, if any, as a freshman on the varsity team? I talk with a lot of players now at Central Valley Academy, obviously, which is the Ilion High School merger with Mohawk, and all the other local schools in the area. And it's not often that you see a freshman on the varsity team, unless it's just such a small school that they have to put a freshman on the varsity team. So as someone who made the varsity team as a freshman, what did that feel like, and what was the challenge of going through that process?
Well, it was definitely a challenge. I mean, I didn't know, I really didn't know what to look forward to. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just put my spikes on, and got the ball and the glove and the bat, and just did what I do always. Hit and catch the ball, throw the ball, and just I just try to tell myself, get better every day. Just keep doing the same things, and something will happen. And evidently it did, because I was fortunate, and I put a lot of work into it. I mean, it didn't come easy. Let's put it that way.
What was one of the hardest parts, being able to balance all of that work with also obviously trying to do well with the academics in school too?
Well, it's kind of, they all both go to kind of together. You do the academics, and if you don't do the academics, you don't play. So, I mean, you had to keep up with the schoolwork, and hopefully, that you did well enough in school to stay on the team, and not get set down or not playing. So, I mean, I crammed the books pretty good, and evidently, it made me a little better, and it made me better as a player also, being involved in both things at the same time. So it was 2 for 1. So I enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed school, and I enjoyed sports. So we both had had an anchoring for both of them. So it was fun. I mean, you had to do good in school. You wouldn't play. So I had to try to do good in school first before I went on the field.
And when you were in school, not everyone thinks about maybe what their future career could be, but some people start to find those seeds in high school of maybe what they'll do professionally in the future after that, or after they go to, maybe they'll continue their education even after to further develop skills in a certain area. Was there any other kind of topic that interested you in high school that you thought maybe you could work in that spot? How much was baseball also part of that, realization that could be your job?
Well, actually, baseball is always number one in anything, in everything. So I mean, baseball is on my mind 24 hours, and like I said, all the other stuff was extra, and the schoolwork. Like I said, I did the schoolwork, did what I had to do, and so I could play. And I mean, baseball was always the number one thing for me, and that's why I said, I wanted to eventually play in the big leagues, and that came true. And but it was a long road. I mean, it was, like I said, it wasn't easy.
Boots, did you have any role models growing up in baseball, along with Stan Musial? Did you have any people that you knew well in person that were kind of your role models, whether it be for baseball or for life in general? Well,
I kind of had a role model. My managers in Little League, the two Garnseys, and my ex-brother-in-law Cliff Bruce, they were my coaches, and I looked up to them, and they were very good teachers, and I was all ears, and it was fun playing for them because they do the game, and they know how to handle people. Some people need to be patted on the back, and some people that need to be kicked in the butt. So they knew who was who, and they handled all the situations really, really well. And I learned a lot from them just growing up and playing 4 or 5 years in the Little League with them, and that was kind of the start.
It sounds to me like it was kind of a family thing, if you're saying that you had coaches that you were actually even related to in a way. Baseball, obviously a very tight-knit family, and we just heard this week at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, the players and staff talk about how much of a family baseball is. So how much did you feel like it was like those players, those coaches became an extended part of your family, and so it wasn't just a job, but more of just going out to play that game with brothers or fatherly figures, etc.?
Well, I played, I did play with my brother. I'm the youngest, and then the next oldest, my brother Bill. He was 2 years older than I was, but we played together on a little league team, and like I said, our coaches, everybody in Ilion, everybody knows everybody. So I mean, our coaches were really good friends with my mother and father, and they kind of kept me under their wing, and which is very fortunate. And they didn't let you go astray and stuff like that. They kept you in order, and like I said, they're good teachers, and I learned a lot from them, just being on the team with them.
So what were some of those lessons or messages that you took away from them that that kind of impressed upon you and stood out to you as you continued your career, and that kind of maybe created the foundation for who you became as a Major League Baseball player?
Well, they teach you all the fundamentals, and which is number one. And like I said, they treat you like a person, and learning the fundamentals of the game and know how to play the game, that's key. And they were very good at all the fundamentals of the game. They taught you every phase of it, and that's what started pretty much the whole thing. And once you get a foundation, knowing what to do, when to do it, and they were very good at it, and they would let you know if you didn't. If you went astray a little bit, they'd put you back in line and tell you the right way. So it was a win-win situation. They helped me, and it really helped myself. Listen to them teach me how to play the game, which is key.
You know, as a freshman on the varsity team, that's a really young age, and I feel like a lot of student athletes at that age don't necessarily have that kind of skill to be able to be open to listen and to learn, and they kind of want to just go out and play, and they feel like they feel more macho or cocky in a way that look at me, I made the varsity team as a freshman. So how did you manage that at such a young age to be so wise, I guess, at that time, to know that you had to listen and learn in order to eventually become the greatest version of yourself that you could?
Well, I was always taught that you'd be seen and not heard. So I really didn't talk a whole lot, and I was there to watch and learn, and I didn't say much. I just sat there, took in all the stuff that they wanted to tell me, and I put it in my memory bank. And like I said, I was taught very young in age that you're better seen than heard. So that was my credo. I stuck with that, and I stayed with it, and I still do today, actually.
Why is that so important to you, and still to this day? Why does that mean so much, that credo, like you just said?
Because some people talk too much, and they don't need to, and it's just one of those things that it's a principle. It's learn how to be a man, a person, and that's the way it is. And if you go off to the other side, you're going to be involved in something that you're probably not going to like, and a lot of stuff starts happening. So I try to keep away from all trouble. And all this stuff, I try to learn. I don't try to know that I know all of it, and which I don't. I still learn every day, and it's the principle of the thing. So I'm always involved in trying to help people. When I come up, I try to teach them what I learned, and it just goes on and on and on. It's just it's a never-ending deal. I mean, that's the way life is.
In a moment, I'll ask you also obviously a little more about your Major League career, and then I will touch on your current career as a coach, where you are doing that teaching now on the other side of the table now. But I do want to ask you first, what is it, do you think, about Ilion High School at the time that you went there that produced so many quality baseball players? Because you're the only one to have played in Major League Baseball, but there are 5 others to have come out of Ilion High School to play professionally in the minor leagues. And even though that's a total of 6 over all the years, I feel like that really is a huge percentage when you think about it, to have that many professional baseball players come out of one high school and one area. So what was it about Ilion High School? What was it about Ilion baseball at that time that enabled all of you to just have that kind of success?
Well, it's all about the coaches. You have good coaches, you have good players, and it's as simple as that. I mean, when you have good coaches, they teach you the right stuff to do, and you just have to apply it. And I mean, I know who you're talking about. All these guys that I know who you're talking about, and they were good ball players, and they learned and they did the right things, and it got them where they ended up. I mean, I know I played against Donnie Albin in AAA. When I was in AAA, he was there. Actually, I batted against him when he was in Montreal. So I mean, it's one of those things where it comes from coaching. Coaching starts off everything, and you have the ability and talent to do this stuff, but you have to apply what they say and put it together, and that's why these guys were pretty good, and they got signed, which I know all of them that did sign, and they're very good ball players. And Ilion always had a decent coaching staff. Joe Nicolette was my coach, and he taught me a lot about the game. He was very, very good.
What's one particular lesson that he taught you that still stands out to you now that maybe you're teaching your players in the Frontier League?
Well, mine is life, how you grow up, and be the right player, do the right things, don't get in trouble, do everything you're told to do, and try to do it well, and try to get better as every day goes on. You get better, and you go over and they keep giving you stuff to work on. And he gave me a lot of things. I mean, just life in general. I mean, he taught me how to be a person, really. I mean, besides the baseball, I mean, he taught me on and off the field. So he was very knowledgeable about everything. He was actually my math teacher in school also. But he knew the game very well inside out, and he was a good player in college himself. So I mean, he knew how to play the game.
What was your Major League Baseball career like when you finally got to the majors? You're playing for the Cardinals, the team that you said your MLB idol played for. What was that like? Was it, I heard a lot at the Baseball Hall of Fame about how awe-inspiring the game is. So you as a young man becoming a professional ball player at the Major League Baseball level eventually, what was that moment in transition like for you?
Well, it was like I said, a dream come true. But when I got there, it was awe-inspiring. Being next to some of the biggest stars in the game, and I'm just a little 21-year-old, and I'll tell you what, the higher you go in baseball, the faster the game gets, and up there it's real fast. I mean, you got to stay with it and do the right things, and because it'll pass you by real quick if you don't do it. And it's just being there with the stars of the game, Bob Gibson and those guys, and McCarver and Shannon and all those guys. It was a big thrill because, like I said, I was a Cardinal fan, and my idol was Stan, and I finally got to St. Louis and met him and played with all these guys, and it was a lot of fun.
I feel like one thing I've been learning about recently is, they say imposter syndrome, where it's kind of like you're in the room because you're talented enough, but then all of a sudden you're there and you're looking at these stars that you've watched on TV, and now you're throwing them the ball and everything. So how did you, what did it take to make you in your mind, maybe mentally here, to feel like, yes, as a 21-year-old, I do belong here and I can be successful along with them too?
Well, I mean, once you get there, you're all equal. I mean, some guys are better than others, obviously, but you're all equal. You're all in the same place. And I was told one time that they all put their pants on one leg at a time, just like I do. So they're better than I am, but they're no better than I am. So I mean, I'm here, they're here, they made it, I made it, it was funny because all the teams I played with, all the players got together really well. They're a bunch of really great guys, and nobody tried to outdo them because of their name and what they've done. And I mean, it was a close-knit bunch. All three teams I played for, we're all very close.
When you're playing with these Major League Baseball teams, how often did Ilion High School and Ilion baseball come up in your mind? How often did you think about those high school playing days while you were going around the major leagues?
Well, not very much. Once you get out of that and you get in a higher level, and I mean, it's kind of hard to. I mean, you know where you came from. You always know where you came from. But I mean, I was worried about the next day, trying to stay in the big leagues. I mean, it's always in your mind where you come from. I always remember where I come from, and that'll never change. And but I mean, once you get there, you got to set your mind on playing the level that you're at. And like I said, I'll never forget Ilion and the time I grew up there. I'll never forget that. But you just got to live. Life goes on, and it keeps getting bigger. So that was my feeling. But I like I said, I never forgot about Ilion at all, ever.
How in touch with your, let me say that again, how in touch with your colleagues, your teammates from, and your buddies from Ilion baseball were you, and are you still?
No, I actually I get a couple calls once in a while from a couple guys, but not very often. We kind of got out of touch the longer I went in the game, and we really didn't really connect too much afterward. When we all got out of high school and stuff, it was one of those things where everybody went their separate ways, and you just kind of forgot where they are and what they're doing, because everybody went somewhere different. So it was kind of tough to keep track of them.
Is there something that stands out to you that makes you proud to be from Ilion as your roots, and to have that as your place when you're going around meeting all these people from across the country and the world?
Well, no, I mean, Ilion's my hometown. I mean, there's no other Ilion. So I mean, it's one of those things where you grew up there, and it'll always be a part of you. And I've done that from the get-go. When I graduated from high school and signed the contract, I like I said, I never forget Ilion, and it's just one of those things that you grew up with it, and it's always going to stay with you.
So then what does it mean to you that Ilion decided that August 31st, 2021 was going to be Charles Booth's day? What does it mean to you that they decided to go ahead with that and honor you with your own day this year?
Well, I was honored. I knew nothing about it, and the mayor called me, and he got me on the phone, and we talked, and I told him, I said I was honored, and thanked him very much for setting that day for me. And I mean, it felt good, that I know people don't forget, but these people, like I said, Ilion is like always going to be my hometown, and they didn't forget, and it was really an honor for me to have that day. They set out a day for that. So it was a pretty good honor.
Do you have a favorite memory from playing high school ball in Ilion?
Not only my senior year when we beat Herkimer the last game of the season, and won the All Sports Trophy. That win got us the All Sports Trophy for all the sports in school, accumulated points and stuff. So that game we won in Herkimer, we won the All Sports Trophy. That was one of the biggest things, because we had, I don't know if we'd ever won one before, and we finally did, and it was a good feeling after that game that they said that we won the trophy, and our whole team went crazy when we found out that.
And of course, Herkimer being basically right next door, that had to be a kind of fun little rivalry end there.
Oh yeah, that's all a rivalry. Any sport, every sport, it's a rivalry, big rivalry. Them and Mohawk are two big rivalries with us.
And do you have a favorite memory from having been in Major League Baseball as a player?
Well, I always tell them two stories, two things I can really relate to is one against the Mets in the bottom of the 10th. I hit a game-winning home run in the bottom of the 10th off Buzz Capra, and then I played in Bill Stoneman's second no-hitter. I played in that game also. It was also against the Mets. So those are the two big highlights that I had with Montreal. Those are two big things there.
And so what was it about baseball, now kind of transitioning to your current role, what was it about the game that made you want to become a coach and stay involved as a manager and a bench coach and become a teacher after having learned so many lessons from so many others along the way?
Well, I mean, that's part of the game. That's baseball, and that's that's why I stayed in baseball, because I like to learn and I like to teach, and like I said, these guys today they keep me young, and I enjoy watching them progress, so they can making up the ladder a little further. And I've always enjoyed managing. I enjoyed coaching. I scouted for 11 years. I enjoyed that. I just love being in the game in some capacity, and I've hit all the capacities, so I enjoy doing it, and it's one of those things that I enjoy working with kids.
And so looking back at your career, whether it be in high school, whether it be in the major leagues, or whether it be now as a manager and coach, what is it that makes you proudest?
Well, just being involved in baseball. I mean, it's been my whole life. That's the only thing I've really ever known. I mean, I've done odd jobs in the wintertime, but I mean, baseball has been my life, 55 years. I mean, that's all I've done since I was 18. So I just keep doing it and enjoy it. And now it's time to set aside all the things and think about something else. So it's baseball's it's a fun game. You make it fun. You make it as fun as you want it. And I've always made it fun. I never look back and say, well, I wish I did this, but I've enjoyed every bit of it, all 55 years.
And so that brings me to kind of my final thoughts for you, which is, why was this the time to retire from the game, and how did you come to that decision? I imagine it was not something that was easy to decide after so long.
Well, I mean, 55 years, that's a lot of time. So, I mean, I don't really need to go further. I just thought it was time to turn it over to somebody else. And I had, like I said, I had 55 good years of baseball, and it's I never look back and say I wish I did something else. And that never happened. So I mean, 55 years is plenty to be in doing one thing, your whole life. So I'll miss the game for sure. There's no doubt I'll miss it. But I think it's just time for me to move over and let somebody else do it.
What would be your message for current high school players at what's now Central Valley Academy?
I just tell them to learn everything you can and apply it. When you're on the field, apply it and just every day get better. Do something you haven't done, and just try to expand all your horizons. And do the things that you know how to do, and do it, get better at it, and continue until you succeed. That's never quit. Just keep doing what you're doing, and just try to get better at all aspects of the game.
I've got to ask, do you have a favorite quote? This is just kind of a fun question that I'm curious about, but you seem to be the kind of guy that I enjoy kind of like inspirational quotes and things. Has there ever been a quote that has stood out to you?
I don't know. There's so many of them. There's really not one. I mean, I always do the little things like I'm always the first person in the ballpark and the last one to leave. I was told that my first year in pro ball, in A ball, that you'd be the first one there and the last one to leave. And I've stuck to that my whole career. I'm always the first one there and the last one to leave. So, but anyway, I'm always that was my best thing. I've always lived by that saying, and and I stick by it. And I always tell all the players, there's one thing you do: you be the first one there and the last one to leave, and everybody's gonna, know the manager will like you for doing that.
Awesome, and I have to kind of conclude here by asking, what's your kind of thought about? Oh, sorry, I'm just hearing a little feedback here in my ear. I have to ask, what's your memories and feelings about the nickname Boots?
Well, it shouldn't be my real name because I've never been called my real name. I've been Boots since I was 6 months old, so it shouldn't be my real name. So I have no quips about Boots. I mean, that's really my real name. So I really don't know my real name. So.
All right, awesome. Well, listen, I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time to do this, because I know that the Ilion community obviously is really excited about your career and is wanting to support you as they have, and is looking forward to hearing this from you.